Melber, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? What are you doing lately? I mean, I've put up with your bad dad jokes and hip-hop references, and I've stood by you in the criticism of your using pop culture in a news format, but I think it's valuable. Recently, I don't know what you're doing. I won't go into what you've been talking about and discussing regarding the Israel-Hamas war, but just on the Trump trials, you've been really heavily skewed to the defense here, and I can't see why. Are you trying to give balanced journalism? Are you being a lawyer? Or are you being a journalist? Which are you? Are you trying to mediate both sides this? You're bringing on some really questionable people. Former Trump organization lawyers, for example, William Brennan, former Trump organization attorney, who's failed and lost cases. You bring him on for 3 days in a row, or you had an interview with him that you cut into 2, but you kept replaying portions of it while you had 2 hours a day for most of this week to cover this trial. You've been bringing on people like Brennan. You've been doing this all week, Ari. Former President Donald Trump's payroll attorney, William Brennan, launched into a tirade on MSNBC Thursday, attacking Michael Cohen. However, MSNBC anchor Ari Melber, himself an attorney, stopped him cold with a single point. This guy's a whiner, said Brennan. It's always somebody else's fault. I think Trump defense counsel Blanche brought that out today. It's the judge's fault. It's the prosecutor's fault. It's the banker's fault. It's the loan officer's fault. It's Trump's fault. You have to remember, Ari, the lies are not totally related, and they don't begin and end with Trump world. He lied about the medallions. He lied to the IRS. He lied to his wife about the refi. He lied to the judge. I mean, they have nothing to do with Trump, and it's always someone else's fault. Well, let me slow you down, cut in Melber. Good job, Ari. We were just discussing the phone call with the DA's office. We'll get to that. I did want to mention, you said that Cohen has been caught lying a lot, and you've been reporting on that. Of course, if that meant that someone wasn't fit to have their day in court, you can never represent Donald Trump when you did, because he's been caught in more lies than any public person alive, according to the Washington Post and other accounts. Well, that's some type of political statement, said Brennan. I'm not here for politics. They claim that Ari Melber is clashing with him. Now, previously, I don't know if this is his producers or his own ego driving this, because he's previously had lawyers on in the past that were Trump lawyers or MAGA lawyers or right-wing lawyers who've incriminated themselves, like Peter Navarro, Joey Tacopino was on, and he got him so flustered that Tacopino tried to snatch papers out of his hand, and that was getting him some good views. And so is he continuing to bring on these people just so he can hopefully get them to say something incriminating or bait them? But he sure is giving them a lot of leeway, if you ask me. And not only did he have that sleaze bag on, he also has had on, live from the prison cell, Michael Avanatti.
Disgraced lawyer Michael Avanatti, who once represented a woman suing then-President Donald Trump, has been sentenced to 14 years in prison. Avanatti was convicted of stealing millions from his clients, including about $300,000 from Stormy Daniels. The judge said that he abused his position of trust because he thought people would believe his word over Daniels. Avanatti was also sentenced for tax fraud related to his coffee business.
On Tuesday, MSNBC host Ari Melber decided that it would be a good idea to put former Stormy Daniels attorney and current disreputable prisoner Michael Avanatti on the air. But a clearly bitter Avanatti merely spent the whole time baselessly claiming that the criminal case was a weak one before going on to bizarrely bash the Democratic Party. The whole thing was a misleading, pointless farce. Yet Melber did basically nothing to stop Avanatti from using the interview to make controversial false claims. The whole thing was such a debacle that Melber and Avanatti and MSNBC ended up trending on Twitter all day as everyone piled on in disgust. Melber took the worst of it and deserved it too. He has a consistent history of booking dishonest guests and then doing far too little to correct any of his guests' lies. He also managed to falsely claim that Cohen was selling merchandise for profit when it's the Midas Touch merchandise. It's not directly benefiting Michael Cohen. I don't know what kind of agreement he has with them, but all the same, it was a bit false or misleading claim by Melber himself. So Melber, you're Melber toasted.